Welcome once again to another video of Red Dead Redemption 2. We've covered the series so far from the prologue up until chapter 5 of the game, and today we're looking into chapter 6. As with the others, I'll be showing the details in this game that I think most people may have missed. This may include things like hidden dialogue, secret scenes, or alternate ways of completing missions. Before we begin, please be aware that there will be spoilers ahead for the game, so without any further delay, let's get into today's video. Here are things you may not realise could happen in Red Dead Redemption 2, Chapter 6 Edition. The first thing I want to show you today is a couple of details from the prison break mission titled Visiting Hours. After the failed bank robbery in Saint-Denis, John Marston was captured and transported to a federal penitentiary. Abigail needs someone to go and rescue him, but the gang's leader, Dutch, seemingly wants no part of it. Not yet at least. But fearing that the authorities may hang him sooner than later, Arthur and Sadie head out on a boat and sail to the prison, which is located on an island. Upon arriving ashore, Arthur makes quick work of a lookout who is perched atop a tower. Now with a scoped rifle in hand, he looks around the workfields for John. Upon finding his location, he quickly disables one of the guards. Now most people will immediately shoot the second, but did you realise that you don't have to? If you leave it for just a moment, the other prisoners who were previously cowering for cover will take this as an opportunity and attack the remaining officer. Also, another detail that you may notice here is that some of the prisoners will make a break for it and head straight to the shoreline in hopes of escape. Now another quick thing in this mission is that if Arthur, while at the mayor's party earlier in the game, chose to speak with Heston Jameson, when speaking with the captured guard, he will comment differently after learning that Heston is head of the prison.
So, where do we go?
Towards the entrance, I guess.
And who's in charge of this fine establishment?
Mr. Jameson? Sir?
Jameson? Heston Jameson?
Yes. Not his brother Archibald. He owns the mine up at Ansburg.
My God, what a family.
Secondly, I want to show you something from a mission called The Delight of Van Horn. The scene begins with Micah and Arthur arguing, but eventually we learn that Dutch has passed a message on through Micah. He needs Arthur to build to steal a wagon full of dynamite from the local town. After the scene ends, Bill prompts Arthur to follow him on his horse, but if you look up at the house that they're currently at, one of the upstairs windows are open. So instead of immediately following Bill, you can make your way up there and discover yourself one of the eeriest sights to be found in the game: the man-made mutant. There are also a couple of notes around the room detailing this terrible experiment. You're free to explore this while still in the mission and it won't result in failure, so there's no need to mark the location and head back later on. In the quest, The Fine Art of Conversation, after a brief goodbye with Josiah Trelawney, we are approached by Rainsfall, the local Indian chief. Rainsfall needs both him and Charles to watch over a meeting with Colonel Favors as he suspects there may be foul play. After the whole thing goes wrong, Arthur and Charles, with their friends Captain Monroe, are forced to make a hasty escape. A tough battle ensues, but eventually the trio are made safe. Arthur delivers Captain Monroe to the local train station, gives him a little money, and says his goodbyes. Now the end to the scene can go two different ways, and it depends whether Arthur has completed an earlier side quest called Of Men and Angels, where he aids the local church a couple of times. If Arthur has completed this and his honour is high, he will meet Sister Calderon and engage in an emotional conversation where he admits he is afraid to die. If he hasn't completed the side quest and his honour is low, it will be Reverend Swanson at the station, who we learn is fleeing the gang in fear of his own safety.
I guess I'm afraid.
There is nothing to be afraid of, Mr. Morgan. Take a gamble that love exists and do a loving act.
I've changed. I'm a changed man, Arthur. I won't die over some nonsense spouted by a fool.
I ain't changed. I'm still a bad man.
Dutch, being Dutch, has a plan to ambush the military, in act of revenge for what they have done to the Indian tribes. This occurs in a mission called Favoured Sons. In this quest, Dutch tells Arthur he needs him to help plant some dynamite along the tree lines with the intention of trapping a squad of soldiers and humiliating them. After planting the explosives and heading back up top, Dutch orders Arthur, when it's time, to detonate the plunger. But what happens if Arthur refuses? Let me show you. There is also a second thing to note in this mission. After the heavy firefight, Dutch and Arthur are cornered on a cliff edge with only one way out. It's at this moment that Dutch gives a little speech which resembles his final speech back in the original Red Dead Redemption.
You're fighting nature, Captain. Get over here! Ask my friend here. My whole life, I tried to fight change. It's a waste. I see that now. It's a waste. You can't fight nature, Captain. You can't fight change. We can't always fight nature, John. We can't fight change. Can't fight gravity. We can't fight nothing. My whole life, all I ever did was fight.
In the mission titled My Last Boy, Eagleflies, son of Rainsfall, requests the aid of the Van der Linde gang for an attack on an oil refinery. And even though it's nothing to do with his people, Dutch happily agrees, much to the disagreement of Rainsfall and Arthur himself. So off the majority of the gang go and head straight into a tremendous fight between the Indians and the military. After battling their way through, a small cutscene plays out whereas Eagleflies is tackled to the ground and is in a one-on-one struggle with his adversary. Now instinctively, most players will help out immediately, but if you choose not to, after a moment, a secret scene will occur. How many have seen this one?
Come on, man! Red man! Come here!
Eagle flies!
Boys, I got one! I got one! Your fight is over. Just what right have you got to cause all this goddamn trouble? Arthur! Charles!
Don't thank us. Thank Mrs. Adler.
Mrs. Adler?
We should get moving.
Where are my men? Where are my men?
We saw some fighting by the factory. That's where Dutch is gone.
Let's go, quick!
In the final mission of the game, which is also titled Red Dead Redemption, there are a couple of things I want to show you. Arthur, having learned that Micah was the true rat, returns to camp to confront them all. A heavy argument occurs where the gang members are forced into choosing a side, but there's a couple of little details that some may not have noticed. As the gang divides and everyone is pointing guns at one another, if you watch Javier Escuela, he is reluctant to choose at first and holds his pistol up in the air. Also, if you take a look at the tree line in the background, you can actually see the Pinkertons moving into position to attack. Take a look.
We all need to have a little chat.
Black Lung, you're back. Hooray.
I just saw Agent Milton, Dutch. Abigail shot him. She's okay. Not that you care too much about that. You rats. All of you. And who is betraying me? Well, Javier. Think for yourself.
He's lying.
He's lying.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. Support me on Patreon too, if it's all possible. If you wish to get in touch at all my social media links are below in the video description, or simply just leave a comment. Please join me next time, where I'll be covering the first part of the epilogue as we continue our story as John Marston. A big thank you to those who made it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next one.